يتم تعريف السلع، وفي هذا المثال هي سلعة واحدة وهي السيارة. ثم الخطوة الثالثة يتم تحديد نوع وخصائص السلعة. على سبيل المثال في هذه الحالة هي سيارة، وخصائصها مثل رقم السيارة، السعر، والجهة الحكومية المسؤولة، لأن العقد الذكي يتطلب الربط بالجهات الخارجية لتفعيل الشروط والتأكد من الشروط عند الجهات الرسمية. في الخطوة الرابعة يتم تعريف البائع والمشتري سواء كان بالاسم أو رقم الهوية أو رقم الشخصي. وفي الخطوة الخامسة يتم تعريف مصارف البائع، البنوك البائع والمشتري، ليتسنى أتمتة تحويل المبلغ السيارة في حساب المشتري. وفي الخطوة السادسة يتم التحقق من أن البائع هو حقا مالك للسيارة، وفي حالة عدم تطابق الأسماء يقوم النظام بإنهاء العملية دون إتمام عملية البيع، فلم يتحقق الشرط. أما إذا تحقق الشرط فينتقل إلى الخطوة السابعة، وذلك بيتم التحقق من توفر مبلغ السيارة في حساب المصرفي التابع للمشتري، وفي حالة عدم توافر المبلغ يقوم النظام بإنهاء العملية دون إتمام عملية البيع. في الخطوة الثامنة يتم تحويل المبلغ المتفق عليه من حساب المشتري إلى حساب البائع وتأكد من صحة العملية. وفي الحالة التاسعة إذا نجحت عملية تحويل المبلغ يتم تغيير صاحب السيارة إلى اسم المشتري. والخطوة الأخيرة يتم اختيار شركة التأمين بالمالك الجديد. فنلاحظ هنا هاي الخطوات مبرمجة مسبقا وتمشي بتسلسل معين، ويتم التحقق من كل خطوة قبل الذهاب إلى الخطوة الأخرى. فهذا مثال للعقد الذكي الذي نحن في صدد نقاشه. وللعقود الذكية منافع، وهي تملك خصائص تميزها عن العقود التقليدية. أول خصائص يتمثل في استقلالية الأطراف المتعاقدة إذ لا توجد حاجة إلى سلطة مركزية، فبمجرد سريان مفعول العقد الذكي تقوم الخوارزميات الخاصة بتقييم وتنفيذ التلقائي للشروط. ثاني هذه الخصائص يتمثل في المستوى العالي من الأمن والحماية الذي تتوفر في الحماية التي توفرها المجتمع، مما يمنع حدوث أي تجاوزات أو عمليات تزوير، لأن العقد يقوم بتلقاء نفسه بالتأكد من الشروط. أما الخاصية الثالثة فهي تتمثل في الشفافية المطلقة في تنفيذ العقد، إذ يمكن لكل طرف أن يطلع على الأحكام، الشروط والوضعية العقد لحظة بلحظة. كل هذا من شأن القضاء على أي منازعات قد تنشب بين الأطراف المتعاقدة بمجرد انتهاء العقد. كما تتمثل أحد منافع العقود الذكية في تقليص تكاليف الصفقة من خلال إلقاء دور الأطراف الوسيطة كالمحامين، الشهود والبنوك وغيرها. أما تتمثل في مستوى عالي من الدقة في تنفيذ العقود، كون الأخيرة ينفذ من طرف الخوارزميات خاصة وليس من طرف عنصر بشري قد يرتكب خطأ سواء عند إبرام العقد أو تنفيذه. وفي الختام نتكلم عن حاضر ومستقبل العقود الذكية. أن الطلب العالي على العقود الذكية في نمو مستمر، خصوصا مع تزايد وتيرة تبني تكنولوجيا البلوكتشين. هذه العقود بإمكانها تحويل طريقة العمل الحالية التي تعتمدها المؤسسات والمصارف المالية، والقضاء على العديد من المشاكل والتحديات التي تواجه المؤسسات المصرفية نفسها وحتى المصرف المركزي. من المتوقع أن تصبح العقود الذكية شائعة الاستخدام في غضون 3 إلى 5 سنوات قادمة. وفي الأخير تجدر الإشارة أن العقود الذكية لا تزال في بداية مشوارها، وهي حاليا في مرحلة التجريب والتعديل والتطوير، كما أن لا يمكن إنكار وجود بعض التحديات التي تواجه العقود الذكية والتي لا زالت بحاجة إلى إعادة نظر قبل أن يتم استخدامها على نطاق أوسع. هذه التحديات ترتبط أساساً بالجوانب التقنية وإعادة هندسة الإجراءات للبائع والمشتري والأعمال التواكب العقود الذكية، والإطار التشريعي الذي ينظم العملية، والإطار القانوني لاستيعاب العقود الذكية. وشكرا.
شكرا لك أستاذ أحمد على النبذة المختصرة عن موضوع مقدمة في العقود الذكية ومنافعها، وكيف أنها سوف تعمل على يعني أخذ يمكن صح البساطة من بعض المؤسسات المالية اللي لن تطبق مثل هذه التقنيات، وسوف تعطي يعني للبائع والمشتري مجال كبير في التعامل عن بعد مع مؤسسات يعني مالية أو أفراد أو شركات في هذا المجال. الآن الورقة الثانية للأستاذ ميان نذير، وهو من مسؤول في دار الشريعة، وسيتكلم عن العقود الذكية من النواحي القانونية والنواحي الشرعية. فليتفضل بليز.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I know it is a low energy time, but I try to be precise, and as the subject connotes, discussion is going to be a bit smart. A few minutes ago, I was listening to Sheikh Al-Mani's discussion and other scholars' discussion. The thing that came to my mind is that instrument or in practice, issuers are issuing every other month. We were not prepared at the right time to have the right Sharia nominate contract identified for that instruments. And that is why we have this discussion at the moment, that there are confusion around the subject and we do not have a proper and appropriate Sharia justification for that as well. In that particular context, it is the right time that we look at smart contract regime and try to understand what are smart contracts and how these smart contracts align with Islamic law of contract, and more particularly discussing the compatibility of these smart contracts in Islamic law of contract, and seeing that where the Islamic law of contract stand in a smart contract paradigm. This is the basically scheme for today's discussion. Intention is to understand what are these smart contracts. Is there any issue? Are they acceptable? Generally, a contract is a contract. But why there is something special about these contracts? We look into those definition and analysis, then we look at the similarities and differences, then we look at the compatibility chapter, we look at the prerequisite of a contract, particularly eligibility, which is Ahliyatul Ada, test for a Sharia nominate contract. Then the more important aspect of this discussion is going to be electronic minds or electronic agent. This is typically in the context of artificial intelligence. This is something we need to pay attention to. And then move on to see what is the initial assessment based on 5 Sharia nominate contracts or categories of Sharia nominate contracts. Then move on to the way forward and smart contract regime. So if you look at the definition of the Sharia smart contract definition, so there are 3 definitions of smart contract. One is devised by Chamber of Digital Commerce. Second definition is by lawyers, and third definition is a layman Wikipedia definition. So if you look at the definition of the Chamber of Digital Commerce, who also prepared the use case for smart contract, which says computer code that upon the occurrence of a specified condition or condition is capable of running automatically according to pre-specified functions. The code can be stored and processed on a distributed ledger and would write any resulting change into the distributed ledger. So one important aspect of this one is automation, automatic performance, automatic execution, automatic negotiations. So the second definition is computer protocol intended to digitally facilitate, verify, and enforce the negotiation performance of a contract. This is a very layman definition. So there is no distinction between, there is no difference between a layman definition and a technical definitions. So technically, everybody is on the same page in terms when it comes to a smart contract. The third definition is the lawyer's definitions. They more or less the same definitions. They say that computer protocol or computer codes that they can automatically monitor, enforce the performance, negotiation and performance and execution of a contract. So technically all these three definitions, they are in sync when it comes to what is smart contract in terms of basic requirements of a contract as well. So comparing this definition with Islamic law of contract definitions, which is concurrence of offer and acceptance, offer from one party and acceptance from the other party, in a manner that affects the subject matter of a contract, asarul aqd. So technically, this definition is close to a smart contract definition as well. But when it comes to the law, an agreement between two or more parties creating obligation that are enforceable or otherwise recognizable at law. So when it comes to a sale contract, typical sale contract, Ahmed Burashi was referring to, so you can see a distinction between these three definitions. Islamic law of contract definition and the definition of the smart contract of the digital, Chamber of Digital Commerce, they're very close. Technically, that is a process. It is not a contract. Smart contract is not a contract, but it is a process. It combines three aspects of the contract. Number one is negotiation. Number two, formation. And number three, the performance of the contract. Technically, in all contracts, what happens is when the parties enters into a contract, they still rely on the good faith and the performance of each other. But in a smart contract, it's not going to happen. All three phases are combined together. So there is no room for further negotiation, there's no room for further performance, and there's no room of thinking that whether a party would perform or would not perform. A smart contract operates automatically, simultaneously, in respect of a three main aspect of a contract, which is a negotiation, exchange of offer and acceptance. Number two, formation of the contract. Number three, which is the performance of the contract as well. But in a law, technically, it is an agreement to sell concept, whereas in Islamic law of contract, agreement to sell is not very much recognized concept. Rather, the scholars treat that contract as an invalid contract from a Sharia compliance perspective as well. So typically, if you look at, there are two models of a smart contract that's going to happen. Number is external smart contract, which is export contract. Number two is internal smart contract models. These two, they have a very distinct requirement. In an external smart contract model, when the party, they have two types of the contract. One is a traditional contract, and then a smart contract as well. What they do is, the performance aspect of the contract is coded into a smart contract regime. The main contract is a traditional contract, but performance aspect is organized on a smart contract regime. And this is a more suitable form for technically for a contract management, for administrations, for tracking performance, and also for reporting performance as well. So this can also be used for all Islamic finance products and services more comfortably because it does not involve basically contract negotiation, formation, but it relates only to the performance as well. So we do not see a big issue here as well. Much needed for assuring efficiencies, compliance, security, and data management as well. But there are certain Sharia compliance issues in this one as well, because in a one-time contract, technically, you would not have problem because everything is simultaneously happening. But in terms of a master arrangement, in terms of a contract which involves a multiple transactions as well in future, there is an issue that whether that can align with the Sharia requirement or not as well. But the other issue is the second model is an internal smart contract model. That is technically a very challenging requirement because in this contract, everything will be on the computer code. And these computer code basically are a very precise statement. So there is no room for any external contract. So technically, even if somebody would like to add something in addition to what they have, they have coded on, they have a pre-written computer software program, nothing can override whatever has been written on that computer as well. So that is something that is a critical, and that is our subject matter of our discussion as well. When we assess the compatibility of the smart contract in terms of what is permissible, what is not permissible, we look into that aspect as well. So this requires the alignment in Islamic law of a contract. So look at the similarities. So there are 4 similarities and there are 4 differences. If you look at the similarities, in Islamic law of a contract, the offer and acceptance must be precise. There should not be any subjectivity. And both offer and acceptance must be absolute. And number 2, use of the present tense or past tense for offer and acceptance. Number 3, in respect of all take the example of sale transactions. We're not talking about other transactions as well, but uqud al-muawadat, there is an end-to-end complete contract process, i.e. there is an immediate transfer of ownership. That is also one of the important aspects of the smart contract as well. So in those, smart contracts are similar to, or they are completely aligning with the Sharia requirement. But there are other 4 differences. What are these differences? Unlike other form of the contract, there is no dependence on a third party for performance of the contract as well. So this is something unique for a smart contract as well. Number 2, they are if-then statement. They are a conditional statement. So if the conditions are met, i.e. the preset rules are met, then contract would certainly take into effect, i.e. there is an automatic concept of execution of a contract. So maybe in other form of the contract, other categories of the contract, this should not be an issue. But when it comes to a sale and purchase transactions, or in other transaction where there is an exchange of offer and acceptance, exchange of counter values, or exchange of mutual consideration, this would be an issue as well because say automatic concept, automatic sale concept, automatic execution of a contract concept is a bit alien to Islamic law of contract as well. Another aspect which are differences as well, because under contract under law and contract under Sharia, they do not combine the 3 phases of the contract, but the smart contract combines 3 phases of the contract, which is negotiation, formation, and performance of the contract as well. And smart contract is a fully consummated contract. It is not a contract yet to be performed. So when in essence, we come to the conclusion that the smart contract regime operate on a self-facilitation, verification, negotiation, performance, and enforcement of a contract. They are conditional, contingent, written in codes or computer software. Now, Brother Ahmed mentioned one thing, that unlike other digital contracts, they are not digital contracts. So please don't confuse smart contract with a digital contract as well. In a digital contract, technically, you have certain human interaction. There is a real time, one way or the two way. But the smart contract might not have that real-time human interactions. It will be on a automated system as well. So technically, at the moment, the technology at the moment, we do not know that what will happen in the future, but at the moment, the technology that supports a smart contract is a blockchain, which is a specific type of the distributed ledger technology that organizes data into blocks that are chained together chronologically by a cryptographic hashtag function and confirmed by a consensus mechanism. So this is basically the technology at the moment they are using for smart contract as well. So look at, the phases of these smart contracts. We started with a semi-automation like ATM, e-commerce, credit cards, transactions, online banking, sale and transactions. Here you see the distinction as well. These are basically digital contracts. Technically, there is a one-way or the two-way real-time human interaction. So this is the first and the second generation of a smart contract. When it comes to second generations, where with one-way or two-way, no real-time human interaction on a software platform. This is the hallmark of a smart contract. This needs to be understood properly by Sharia scholar. Until a few years ago, when prior to the period or time when there was an attempt to successfully integrate Sharia-nominated contract into a mainstream economy, technological disruption would not have been the cause of concern for the scholars, not more than any ordinary user of a technology. But these disruptions, because we know that the innovations which are called disruption, the processes, they are the main driver of the economy. And in this time, it is imperative that we understand, know the impact of the economy, impact of the technology, or these disruption, and align and devise the solution to align the Sharia-nominated contract so that the industry can use them in a much more comfortable manner as well. So smart contract regime is going to offer an evergreen offered acceptance concept which operates on a deal matching concept through electronic mind and electronic agent. This terminology is a critical. This is basically, we need to understand this technology, this terminology, electronic mind, electronic agent. And a smart contract concept, it will be, the contract will not be concluded by a person, a real person, or a juridical person, or a legal person. It is going to be concluded by an electronic mind or an electronic agent. That is a subject matter of discussion for the scholar as well. And we'll see that where we exactly stand on this point of view. And now this symposium is as a scholarly discussion, for a scholarly discussion, we need to understand this properly. Number three, the conditional or contingent contract that conclude on the date the deal codes are matched, automatic execution and performance of the contract. Contract will conclude anyway if the transaction rule set are in sync, and that is true by an electronic mind or an electronic agent or an artificially intelligent platform. And technically, this is something that is going to cause a concern. We will not go deep into smart contract, brother has done this one. Yes. Now, we want to move the smart contract. If you analyze the smart contract in terms of these 5 categories of Sharia-nominated contract, so we would not have a problem with the categories which are a unilateral, voluntary, commitment, and promises. There's no I think we can easily accommodate smart contract regime as well. The contract involving mutual consideration, exchange of consideration, exchange of counter values, transfer of ownership, sale, and certain type of investment contract where there's ownership contracts, there is a challenge. Here we need to understand that to what extent we are going to have a challenge and to what extent we are able to overcome those challenges as well.